What's going on, guys? It's your Void King here. Today I wanted to bring up a bit of a thought process that I've been having. We all, as the COD community likes to say, have sort of felt ignored. Now, this started ever since Black Ops 4 with Blackout. Now, I believe that COD, in its attempt to stay relevant, has basically decided to chase trends. Instead of being a trendsetter, sticking to their guns and doing what they have been doing to the best of their ability, this is not something new for COD as a franchise and Activision's ideas for COD, and this is why I start to see stuff like that. Let's go back all the way to when the first Jetpack COD, started off. Advanced Warfare. Now everybody wants to sit there and say this is when COD went downhill fast. My personal opinion, Advanced Warfare was fun. You take the supply drop system and all the stat changing variants out of it, you had a good game. Now, what many would say was the downfall of Call of Duty is, of course, the Advanced Movement System, or AMS, I'm going to call it that. The AMS was a way of basically putting mobility over everything else. The reason why the COD community hated this is because it sadly was chasing a trend. Titanfall 1 and 2 were really doing well. EA managed to make a game that was actually fun, but also challenging. Basically taking what COD did and said, what if we add jetpacks, wall running, and of course ever so different abilities and shit, right? So Call of Duty, in its attempt to catch up with the success of EA's Titanfall 1 and 2, and of course later down the line that formula Titanfall 1 and 2 had, that was getting its success, turning in... Now I'll make a separate video about what I think happened to Titanfall 2, and why I think... I'm not going to say this, but I'll speak about it in a separate video that's going to be talking about Warzone and Apex, and why I think the two games that preceded, the battle royales of the said franchises they inhabit, inevitably caused the normal PvP aspect of Titanfall 1 and 2 and Call of Duty all the way up to Call of Duty as its DNA sort of changed in a sense. Now everybody in the COD, you've seen people in the COD community literally say COD's suffering an identity crisis. I can't be further from the truth. Yes, they are. But in my sense, it wasn't a case of they forgot what they originally were. It's that they don't want to go back to what they originally were. Because they've done this before, chasing a trend. When Titanfall 1 and 2 were big and really successful, COD, in its attempt to try and stay relevant, because, let's face it, COD got repetitive really freaking quickly. The only thing changing was the creator class and map design. Map design was great. And in Advanced Warfare, the map design was absolutely phenomenal. We didn't have small-ass maps like Shipment. Holy crap, if there was... Sorry, I just thought about that for a minute. If there was a Shipment in Advanced Warfare, we'd be fucked. We'd be pretty fucking fucked. But the map design in Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and heck, even in Infinite Warfare, sort of emphasized on verticality, being able to jump over large buildings, being able to scale big ass walls and shit by just double jumping or thruster jumping. But Call of Duty, in its attempt to sort of keep its relevance and compete with Titanfall 2, inevitably made the jump to, and I'm making a pun out of this, making the literal thruster jump to the AMS system, to the advanced movement system, you know. Also, going downhill with loot boxes, because they gotta make the money somehow, as if $15 DLC bundles was not, you know, giving them enough money as is, and season pass things. Map design was the best that COD has ever had, was basically MW2 on up. You know, MW2 all the way up to Black Ops 4. Because it just, to me, maps that emphasize verticality rather than just typical 3-lane bullshit are really good maps. Maps that don't have typical 3-lane safe space bullshit. This is why I like games like Advanced Warfare. This is why I like games like Black Ops 3. This is why I like Infinite Warfare. My problems with them were just the fact that meta. I always hated meta, and I know damn good and well Call of Duty's going to have that problem for, you know, ad nauseum forever. But this is coming from somebody who plays a little bit more co-op than he does competitive. I like playing with friends. Point is. But back to the point. After the sort of success / failing of Advanced Warfare, because let's face it, they did do good with Advanced Warfare. They did sell a lot of copies of Advanced Warfare. Because the campaign was so goddamn memeable. Then you got Black Ops 3. Everybody made the meme of Train Go Boom. But to me, I felt like outside of campaigns, they were solid games. Now, of course, this also dwindled down the factions to just being one faction, or, you know, two factions, rather than previous titles, multiple factions. Now, of course, Black Ops 3's success was, of course, because of zombies and, of course, multiplayer. Campaign was brought back a few fan favorite features from World at War. Co-op campaign. I really wish COD can do that again, but sadly we're not going to see it, or Activision Plum forgot what that is. Now, you then got Infinite Warfare, the most disliked COD reveal trailer of all time. I think the main thing is people are having burnout with, you know, the jetpack Call of Duties. As jetpack Call of Duties became a little bit less on the nose. But this was, of course, where they went back to boots on the ground with COD World War II, inevitably thinking that it's better to go back to our roots than just balancing it out with a boots on the ground. It's like Infinity Ward should have stuck to the boots on the ground shit. I'm gonna be honest. Treyarch can focus on past events. Sledgehammer, go ham with your futuristic settings. I think there should be a balance between eras. Let Treyarch handle the shit that deals with, like, past wars and whatnot. Like our past. With Infinity Ward continuing in the modern era. to, something like Black Ops 2 era type stuff. Then let Sledgehammer go crazy with the futuristic shit. Jetpacks, freaking, movement systems at the wazoo. Let them be more creative. Let's face it, Sledgehammer has been going down that downward spiral of lacking creativity that they had in Advanced Warfare. Let's face it, Advanced Warfare, they were really creative with the maps. I mean, fuck, you guys, I don't know if anybody here plays, Advanced Warfare, but Sideshow was one of my favorite maps. Now, this is getting off topic, but back on topic, we see Black Ops 4 continue on with the same system, but this time switching it up with manual healing. Pick 10 system makes a return, but the supply drop system got somehow worse. Instead of just a big box of 3 random items, no, you got one case of one item, and if you get 3 duplicates, you get a re-roll. Then Modern Warfare 2019 comes out. We get rumors of a supply drop system being implemented. The community rightfully pissed off because, let's face it, we've dealt with this shit for longer than needed. However, we get free content and then a battle pass system. Then Season 2, Modern Warfare 2, this is when the shitstorm finally hits the road. Now, everybody of the age of a zygote remembers what happens before. The COD entirety of the gaming community takes notice of the trend that soon spikes in popularity because of a game made by Epic Games, Fortnite. Every game franchise you love and know tried to capitalize on this big trend of last person standing battle royales. We see it with PUBG. It started off with Minecraft's Hunger Games, ending up going into H1Z1, PUBG, Fortnite. Then later down the line, the creators of Titanfall 2, Respawn Entertainment, and of course Activision's big ticket franchise, Call of Duty, chases this trend. Black Ops 4 is where we start this damn chasing the trend. Call of Duty, in an attempt to, again, bring back its relevancy, again, decides to go throw a Hail Mary. No campaign for Black Ops 4, completely ditched, by the way, for a new idea, Blackout. Blackout was really popular, with rumors ever so increasing of it becoming a free-to-play title, separate from Black Ops 4 itself. Never coming to be, because apparently Black Ops 4 was really, really rushed. I'm sorry, if you got the sloppy seconds of... If you got to Black Ops 4 at launch, it was buggy. Zombies kept crashing like a motherfucker, and fucking multiplayer had bugs up the ass. Blackout was the only thing that seemed relatively stable. Of course, reworks and all this other shit happens later. Then Modern Warfare 2019 comes out. Modern Warfare 2019 gets announced. No real idea of what'll happen to Blackout. Then we get Price as a Blackout character. Okay. Then Modern Warfare 2019 comes up. Multiplayer's meh. Gunsmith system is alright. I like it, personally. Because, I mean, come on. If you can make cursed guns in any video game, you immediately, get praise from me. Of course, because I get to laugh at some of the stupidest ideas some people come up with. Like, I'm sorry, the COD community tends to come up with the dumbest looking weapons on the goddamn face of the earth. And with the gunsmith system having so many options, you could basically turn an M4 into a submachine gun sniper scope monstrosity. And yet somehow it still frickin' works. Then, oh boy. Then Season 2 shows up. We get a replacement of the supply drop system, battle pass system, but Season 2 of Modern Warfare 2019 is where we go back to the trend chasing of battle royales, folks. Now, I love to quote a lot of YouTubers or Twitch streamers that I used to watch, or I used to hear of. Now, of course, I don't like the battle royale trend. I really fail to see how battle royales are really good. Mainly because, again, I'm the type of idiot that likes to point, shoot, turn off brain, frickin' buzzkill an entire lobby. This is where we also start to see 6v6 taking hits, with Black Ops 4 being one of the start of this neglect of 6v6. Modern Warfare 2019 Season 2 shows up. Warzone 1.0 then starts. We're dropped in the middle of Verdansk, forced to pick up any weapon we can, or save enough money to either get a loadout drop, or stick with our weapons that we pick up from the ground loot. Ground loot, of course, being ass, and you being able to create an entire loadout. I don't like the loadout system. I'm going to be brutally honest. The loadout system was the weirdest thing to ever have happened to battle royales, because it gave people an advantage for basically saving their money or grabbing it when it drops randomly. Now, of course, we get on to why I despise Warzone as a whole. Battle royale. Never really liked it. Plunder was offered up as a casual alternative, but let's face it, skill-based matchmaking comes in, it'll fuck with your experience. This is also where we start seeing a sort of change with multiplayer 6v6 side of things, where you'll be doing meh to alright, but then start rage quitting whenever you start getting bodied by people that normally would be, that either have their, G Fuel frickin' sweatbands and shit. Now, I think this was also an attempt to basically get as much money or boast enough retention. That word's gonna leave a sour taste in my throat, but you get the point. Then Cold War happens, ditching what Modern Warfare 2019 failed in doing, which was dead silence as a field upgrade rather than a perk, but Black Ops Cold War decided to make it a perk rather than a fucking field upgrade. Good on them, and I hope they do it with their next title. However, this is also where we start to see co-op actually being a little bit more loved, because let's face it, I'm not a multiplayer type of guy. I get more pissed off at players that kill me than players that either hold me back in a co-op mode. Because I could just hold that, that basic fact that I carry my teammates. Because if they're randoms and they can't do shit, I just hang that over their head being like, bro, I carried you. Fucking take that goddamn L. But this is also where we see Verdansk 84. Now, of course, everybody wants to sit there and say, Warzone 1 Verdansk was the greatest thing to ever happen. Warzone 1 it was the biggest game ever. It basically took Fortnite's thunder. Yes, I know. But what pissed me off was they could have said no, we don't need to hop on the bandwagon. And Halo, in their attempts, tried to do that. But then Season 2 of Halo Infinite rolls around. I'll get that I'll start that off in a separate video. Now, we're starting to see what is basically the takeover of a Battle Royale genre. With ever-increasing abandon, more popular, and some Battle Royales either taking off or dying. Take, for instance, a game called Realm Royale Reforged. Originally, it was Realm Royale, but then turned into Realm Royale Reforged because the game took off, but really didn't quite have that staying power that Fortnite did. Yes, Fortnite made some decisions that lost half their costed them a bit of player retention. However, Fortnite is an addictive fucking game. Let's all face facts. If you don't play Fortnite, then you are either going to be bullied into playing it or just being like non-stop hearing about it. Then, oh boy, Vanguard happened. Vanguard boasted 20 maps at launch, boasted a literal pick 10 attachment system, and was really inconsistent down to the last fucking season of Vanguard and Warzone 1.0. Vanguard Season 5. Oh boy, this is where my brain just fully freaking aneurysm. Because I didn't care for Vanguard up until Season 5. Because we got to see the return of some very fan favorite enemies of the COD franchise, with the exception of Gabriel fucking Rourke. Fuck Rourke, he can go die in a fire. We get to see Raul Menendez and Khaled Al-Assad. These two COD villains I love for one fucking reason. Khaled Al-Assad and, of course, Raul Menendez were two of my most favorite villains to be in the COD franchise, and I'm glad to see Makarov being mentioned in the new Modern Warfare 2. Now, of course, Warzone 2.0 then decided to take some notes from PUBG and Apex. You thought Warzone 1 decided to innovate a lot? Warzone 2 decided to innovate, but also take inspiration from Apex and, of course, a lot of other games. Now, to me, I think this is where it also decided to dip its hands into the extraction mode type stuff. DMZ. Now, for a lot of people wondering if COD's going through an identity crisis, I'm going to continue to say this. Warzone, to me, and everything else Call of Duty, and heck, even DMZ, are all their separate things. All just inhabiting the same franchise. I consider Warzone 2, Warzone 1 and 2, and Blackout to be their own separate thing. Because from a 6v6 point of view, a 6v6 fan's point of view, they don't like Warzone. They don't like DMZ. They do not like Blackout or Warzone 1.0. However, Activision, because they love the idea of gaining more money because they want to chase trends, will never listen. So, the advice I got to you is, if you don't like the fact that 6v6 is getting neglected, I'll proffer the following query. It's time to basically tell COD that you're through the honeymoon phase. Time to divorce COD. Because your community is not going to be the same ever again. It may sound like a black pill thing to me, but at the end of the day, reality has to set in sometime. You can't just you sit there and bite the pillow and think of Black Ops 2. Because the more you do that, the more you're basically just going to be abandoned. And the only time they're ever going to frickin' listen is if you hit them in the pocketbooks. Ditch their game. Go to other games. Battlefield 2042 managed to get its resurgence. Play that. I mean, heck, if you want to go play the OG Call of Duties, go play the OG Call of Duties. Play some more single player games. That's the only thing I can tell you. Because if you expect Activision to actually give a shit, I'm sorry, friends. It ain't gonna happen. It's one thing to mourn the death of a franchise. It's a whole nother thing to sit there and expect to basically just constantly expect to be listened to. And foolish to spend money on something you know isn't going to be a good product. This doesn't come from a place of, I hate the COD franchise and I hate the COD community. No, it's... I know a losing fight when I see it. And a losing fight is not something I'm willing to be a part of. Because Activision is just going to shut us up. And it's got so many people under their thumb that the only thing we can hope to do is for somebody else to come in and fix the mess, to shake up management, to get rid of the old stains on the company and just change the entire thing. Because the way I see it, Activision is a shell of its former self. Dare I say, it's a husk corpse. Still chugging along because people want to reminisce about the old days while still trying to choke down the new days. You can make your own decisions on what you're going to buy, but as of today, whatever Treyarch's got up their sleeve come 2024, that'll be my last COD. This is the Void King, signing off. Peace.